What if Anakin Skywalker never married Padme Amidala? What if one moment of clarity changed the fate of the entire galaxy? The secret wedding is about to begin. Padme stands in her flowing white dress. Anakin approaches in his dark Jedi robes. This should be their happiest moment. But something's wrong. Anakin stops. His hand trembles. The rage from slaughtering the Tusken Raiders still burns in his veins. "I can't do this, Padme." The words shatter the romantic moment like a lightning strike. Padme's face crumbles. The wedding that should have sealed their fate never happens. Instead, Anakin makes the hardest choice of his life. He walks away. But what if this single decision prevented the rise of Darth Vader? What if it saved the Jedi Order? What if it changed everything? Let's dive into this alternate timeline where love dies so that the galaxy can live. The scene unfolds on Tatooine just after Anakin's mother's death. The pain is fresh. The rage burns beneath his surface. But something has awakened within him. For the first time, he truly understands what the Jedi mean when they speak of the path to the dark side. Padme reaches for him. Her touch is warm, loving, but Anakin pulls away. "What do you mean, Ani? You mean everything to me?" That's exactly the problem. His voice breaks. "What I feel for you, it's consuming me. I let my emotions control me, and look what happened. I slaughtered them all. Not just the men, but the women and children too." His voice breaks slightly and Padme moves closer, trying to offer comfort. But Anakin steps back, his resolve hardening. "The Jedi teach that attachment leads to suffering, and I'm beginning to understand why. My love for you, my fear of losing you, it's making me capable of terrible things. I can't let that happen again." "But Ani, love doesn't have to lead to suffering. We can build something beautiful together." Anakin shakes his head, though every fiber of his being wants to reach out to her. "That's what I thought about my mother. I was so afraid of losing her that I couldn't think clearly. When I finally found her, that fear turned to rage, and rage led me to do something unforgivable. I won't let my feelings for you lead me down that same path." The journey back to Coruscant is tense and quiet. Padme tries several times to change his mind, pointing out that they could keep their relationship secret, that they could find a way to make it work. But Anakin remains firm. He's seen what his unchecked emotions can lead to, and he refuses to put either of them through that again. When they arrive on Coruscant, Anakin immediately seeks out Obi-Wan. His master is surprised to see him back so soon, and even more surprised when Anakin confesses everything. Not just about the Tusken Raiders, though that confession comes with tears and genuine remorse, but also about his feelings for Padme and his decision to choose the Jedi path. Obi-Wan listens without judgment, his expression growing more thoughtful with each revelation. When Anakin finishes, his master places a hand on his shoulder. "I'm proud of you, Anakin. It takes great strength to admit our mistakes, and even greater strength to choose the harder path when our hearts pull us in another direction. But I must ask, are you certain this is what you want?" "No," Anakin replies honestly. "It's not what I want. It's what I need to do, for both our sakes. I can feel the darkness in me, Master. When I'm with Padme, when I think about losing her, it grows stronger. I need to learn to let go of my attachments before they consume me." This newfound honesty creates a deeper bond between master and apprentice. For the first time, Anakin isn't hiding anything from Obi-Wan, and this openness allows them to work together more effectively. Obi-Wan begins teaching Anakin advanced meditation techniques, specifically designed to deal with strong emotions and attachments. Meanwhile, Padme throws herself into her political work with renewed vigor. The hurt of Anakin's rejection is real, but she begins to understand his reasoning. She's seen the violence he's capable of, and while she doesn't fear him, she recognizes that his inner turmoil is something he needs to address. Instead of pursuing him, she focuses on preventing the war that seems increasingly inevitable. In the Senate, tensions are reaching a breaking point. More and more systems are joining the separatist movement, and there's growing pressure to grant Chancellor Palpatine emergency powers. Padme leads the opposition to this measure, arguing passionately that giving one man such power goes against everything the Republic stands for. She finds an unlikely ally in Bail Organa of Alderaan, and together they begin building a coalition of senators who share their concerns. It's during one of these late-night strategy sessions that she realizes how much Anakin's decision has affected her. Without the distraction of their secret relationship, she's able to focus entirely on her duties as a senator, and she's becoming more effective than ever. The Clone Wars begin much as they did before. But Anakin's role in them is fundamentally different. Without the weight of a secret marriage on his shoulders, he's more open with his fellow Jedi, more willing to seek guidance when he struggles with difficult decisions. His relationship with Ahsoka Tano becomes even more important to him, as she represents a way to channel his protective instincts in a healthy direction. Ahsoka, for her part, notices the difference in her master immediately. He's more present, more focused, and while he still struggles with patience and protocol, he's genuinely trying to embody the Jedi ideals. Their missions together become opportunities for both of them to grow, with Anakin learning to be a better teacher, and Ahsoka learning from a master who isn't distracted by hidden secrets. During the Battle of Christophsis, Anakin's clearer mindset allows him to devise more creative strategies. He's still aggressive and unconventional, but his tactics are tempered by wisdom rather than recklessness. When he and Ahsoka infiltrate the Separatist base, his focus is entirely on the mission, rather than on worries about Padmé's safety. This doesn't go unnoticed by the Jedi Council. Mace Windu, in particular, begins to see Anakin in a new light. The young knight is still challenging to work with, still pushes boundaries, but there's a maturity to him now that wasn't there before. He's learning to question his impulses rather than simply acting on them. Chancellor Palpatine, however, is finding Anakin much more difficult to manipulate. The friendship between them continues, but Anakin's newfound emotional stability makes him less susceptible to Palpatine's subtle suggestions. When the Chancellor hints that the Jedi are holding him back, Anakin counters that they're helping him become stronger. When Palpatine suggests that strong feelings are natural and shouldn't be suppressed, Anakin speaks about learning to channel those feelings constructively. This forces Palpatine to adjust his approach. He begins focusing more on Anakin's sense of justice, playing up the Republic's corruption and the Jedi's role as peacekeepers. He subtly suggests that sometimes, to create lasting peace, one must be willing to take decisive action, even if it goes against traditional methods. But even this approach finds less purchase than before. Anakin's experiences in the war have taught him the value of patience and careful planning. When he sees injustice, his first instinct is still to act. But now he consults with Obi-Wan, with Ahsoka, with other Jedi. He's building a support network that makes him less reliant on Palpatine's guidance. The turning point comes during the Siege of Ryloth. Anakin is leading a relief mission to the Twi'lek homeworld when he receives disturbing reports about civilian casualties. His first instinct is to charge in and save everyone, regardless of the strategic implications. But he forces himself to stop and think. He reaches out to Obi-Wan through their training bond, seeking his master's counsel. Together, they devise a plan that minimizes civilian casualties while still achieving their military objectives. It's a more complex approach than Anakin's usual tactics, but it's ultimately more effective. During the battle, Anakin encounters a group of Twi'lek children who remind him of the Tusken younglings he killed on Tatooine. For a moment, the memories threaten to overwhelm him, but instead of pushing the feelings away or letting them consume him, he uses the meditation techniques Obi-Wan taught him. He acknowledges the pain, accepts responsibility for his actions, and channels that energy into protecting these innocent lives. It's during this mission that Ahsoka sees her master truly embrace what it means to be a Jedi. She watches him risk his own life to save civilians, make difficult tactical decisions that prioritize long-term peace over short-term victories, and show mercy to captured enemies. She realizes that the man she's learned to see as a brother and mentor has finally found his balance. Word of Anakin's growth reaches the Jedi Council, and Master Yoda takes particular interest. During their next meeting on Coruscant, the ancient Jedi Master pulls Anakin aside for a private conversation. "Felt a change in you, I have, young Skywalker. Stronger in the Force you have become, but also more at peace. Share your journey, will you?" Anakin speaks honestly about his struggles with attachment, his fear of loss, and his decision to choose the Jedi path over his personal desires. Yoda listens intently, occasionally nodding or humming in understanding. When Anakin finishes, Yoda's expression is thoughtful. "Learned much you have. But one question remains. Regret your choice, do you?" It's a question Anakin has asked himself many times. He thinks of Padmé, of the life they might have had together, of the love he set aside. The pain is still there, but it's no longer sharp. Instead, it's become something else, something that drives him to be better rather than something that threatens to destroy him. "No, Master Yoda, I don't regret it. It was the hardest choice I've ever made, but it was the right one. I can feel it in the Force. This path, as difficult as it is where I belong. Wise you have become, ready for greater challenges you are. But remember, young Skywalker, the path of the Jedi is not one of loneliness. Connected to all living things we are. Your choice to serve others, to put their needs before your own desires. This connects you to the Force in ways that attachment cannot. It's a perspective that Anakin carries with him as the war continues. He begins to see his role not as a burden or a sacrifice, but as a privilege. He's in a position to make a real difference in the galaxy, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, to stand between the innocent and those who would harm them. This shift in perspective is noticed by others as well. Padmé, who still cares deeply for him, sees the change when they occasionally cross paths during the war. There's a peace about him now that wasn't there during their brief romance. He's still the same passionate, determined person she fell in love with, but he's channeled that passion into something greater than himself. Their interactions are cordial but distant. There's still love between them, but it's different now, more mature. They've both accepted that their paths lead in different directions, at least for now. Padmé focuses on her work in the Senate, building coalitions and fighting against the increasing militarization of the Republic. She becomes particularly concerned about Chancellor Palpatine's accumulation of power. Her opposition to the emergency powers legislation has made her a target of criticism from some quarters, but she refuses to back down. Working with senators like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma, she begins to document the Chancellor's overreach and build a case for constitutional limits on executive power. It's during one of these investigations that Padmé uncovers some troubling connections. Financial records that don't quite add up, communication logs that have been suspiciously edited, and a pattern of decisions that seem to benefit the war effort more than they benefit the Republic. She brings her concerns to the Jedi Council, specifically requesting to speak with Obi-Wan and Anakin. The meeting is professional but awkward. Padmé presents her findings with the clinical detachment of an experienced politician, but there are moments when her eyes meet Anakin's, and the old connection flares briefly before being suppressed. Her evidence is compelling but circumstantial. The Jedi agree to investigate, but they caution that they need more concrete proof before taking action against the Chancellor. This investigation brings Anakin into closer contact with Padmé again, but their relationship has evolved. They work together effectively, combining her political acumen with his Force sensitivity and combat skills. But there's no romantic tension now, no secret stolen moments. They've both moved past that, growing into the leaders their respective positions require them to be. The investigation leads them to several disturbing discoveries. They find evidence of Republic funds being diverted to private accounts, of military contracts being awarded to companies with ties to separatist worlds, and of information being leaked that could only have come from the highest levels of government. But every time they think they've found proof of Palpatine's involvement, the trail goes cold or is explained away by bureaucratic incompetence rather than malicious intent. It's Ahsoka who makes the breakthrough. During a mission to intercept separatist communications, she discovers encoded messages that reference a Lord Sidious giving orders to Count Dooku. The encryption is beyond anything the Jedi have seen before. But with the help of Republic intelligence, they begin to decode fragments of the conversations. What they find is shocking. Lord Sidious isn't just allied with the Separatists, he's controlling them. And more disturbing still, the communications suggest that Sidious has agents within the Republic government itself. When they bring this information to the Council, the response is swift. A secret investigation is launched, with only the most trusted Jedi and Republic officials involved. Anakin finds himself at the center of this investigation, working closely with Obi-Wan and a small team of Jedi to uncover the truth. His unique position as both a skilled investigator and someone close to the Chancellor makes him invaluable to the effort. But it also puts him in a difficult position. If Palpatine is truly involved with the Sith, then Anakin's friendship with him has been built on lies. The investigation takes months, during which the war continues to rage across the galaxy. Anakin throws himself into both his military duties and the search for Sidious, driven by a need to uncover the truth. His emotional stability, hard-won through his choice to embrace the Jedi path, serves him well during this stressful period. Where once he might have acted rashly or let his emotions cloud his judgment, now he's patient and methodical. The breakthrough comes during the Battle of Coruscant. As the Republic fleet engages the Separatist invasion force, Anakin and Obi-Wan are tasked with rescuing Chancellor Palpatine from General Grievous. The mission proceeds much as it did in the original timeline, but with one crucial difference. Anakin's mind is clear and focused, unclouded by secret fears or hidden agendas. When they confront Count Dooku aboard the Invisible Hand, the duel is fierce but different. Anakin fights with controlled aggression rather than raw emotion. When he gains the upper hand and has Dooku at his mercy, Palpatine urges him to kill the helpless Sith Lord. But this time, Anakin hesitates for different reasons. He can feel the darkness in Palpatine's words, the hunger for violence that echoes his own darkest impulses. Instead of giving into that darkness, he chooses the Jedi path. He disarms Dooku but refuses to execute him despite Palpatine's protests. "It's not the Jedi way," he says firmly, and for the first time he sees something flicker across the Chancellor's face. Disappointment, anger, or something else entirely? Dooku, injured but alive, becomes a valuable prisoner. Under Jedi interrogation, he reveals fragments of information about his Sith master. He speaks of Lord Sidious, of a grand plan that spans decades, of corruption that reaches to the highest levels of the Republic. But he's careful not to reveal too much, still loyal to his master even in defeat. However, the capture of Dooku provides the Jedi with new leads. They're able to trace some of his communications, to identify previously unknown Separatist agents, and to piece together more of the conspiracy. The picture that emerges is staggering. The Clone Wars aren't just a civil war. They're an orchestrated conflict designed to destroy the Republic from within. Armed with this knowledge, the Jedi Council meets in emergency session. Master Windu proposes taking direct action against suspected Sith agents within the government, but Yoda counsels patience. "Proof we need. Act in haste and destroy what we seek to protect, we might." It's during this debate that Anakin makes a suggestion that surprises everyone, including himself. He proposes using his friendship with Chancellor Palpatine as an asset. Rather than confronting the Chancellor directly, he suggests that they continue the investigation while he maintains his relationship with Palpatine. If the Chancellor is truly Lord Sidious, Anakin might be able to gather the evidence they need by staying close to him. It's a dangerous plan, and Obi-Wan is immediately opposed. The risk of Anakin being corrupted or discovered is too great. But Anakin argues that his recent growth and emotional stability make him uniquely qualified for this role. He's learned to resist manipulation, to think clearly under pressure, and to trust in the wisdom of the Council rather than acting alone. After much deliberation, the Council agrees to the plan, but with strict conditions. Anakin will continue his normal relationship with the Chancellor, but he'll report everything to Obi-Wan and will never be alone in Palpatine's presence without the ability to call for backup. It's a compromise that satisfies no one completely, but it's the best option they have. The next phase of the investigation is the most dangerous yet. Anakin continues to meet with Palpatine, but now every conversation is scrutinized for hidden meanings. He learns to listen not just to what the Chancellor says, but to what he doesn't say. He pays attention to body language, to the emotions he can sense through the Force, to the subtle ways Palpatine tries to guide their conversations. What he discovers is deeply troubling. Palpatine does indeed seem to be manipulating events from multiple sides. He speaks of the war as if he has intimate knowledge of Separatist strategies, and he always seems to know more about Jedi operations than he should. More concerning still, he continues to probe Anakin's loyalties, asking pointed questions about the Jedi Council and their decisions. During one particularly tense conversation, Palpatine brings up Padmé. He mentions how much she's changed since the beginning of the war, how focused she's become on her political work. There's something in his tone that sets Anakin on edge, a suggestion that Padmé might be in danger from forces that see her opposition to the Chancellor's policies as treasonous. "You care for her, don't you, Anakin? Despite your Jedi vows, despite your commitment to the Order, you still have feelings for the Senator from Naboo. There's nothing wrong with that. Love is natural, human. The Jedi would have you suppress these feelings, but I think they make you stronger. It's a familiar temptation, but Anakin is ready for it." He acknowledges his feelings honestly, but explains that he's learned to channel them in service to the greater good. "My feelings for Padmé taught me the importance of protecting those who cannot protect themselves. But I've also learned that attachment can lead to poor judgment. I care for her, but I trust in the will of the Force above my own desires." Palpatine's expression hardens slightly at this response. He's clearly disappointed that his manipulation isn't working as effectively as it once might have. But he quickly recovers, smiling and patting Anakin on the shoulder. "Of course, my boy. The Jedi have taught you well. But remember, there may come a time when you have to choose between your duty to the Republic and your loyalty to the Jedi. When that time comes, I hope you'll make the right choice." The threat is subtle but clear, and Anakin reports it immediately to Obi-Wan. The Jedi Council realizes that their time is running out. Palpatine is becoming suspicious, and if he truly is Lord Sidious, he may soon make his final move. They need to act, but they still don't have concrete proof of his Sith identity. The answer comes from an unexpected source. Padmé's investigation into the Chancellor's finances has uncovered a shell company that's been funneling money to various military contractors. When cross-referenced with the intelligence gathered from Dooku and the intercepted separatist communications, a pattern emerges. The company is connected to several organizations that have been working for both sides of the war. It's the proof they need, but it's also the trigger for Palpatine's final gambit. Somehow he learns of the investigation. Whether through his network of spies or through the dark side of the Force, he realizes that his time as Chancellor is coming to an end. If he's going to transform the Republic into his empire, he needs to act now. The trap is sprung during what should have been a routine briefing. Anakin arrives at the Chancellor's office for their regular meeting, but instead of their usual discussion of war strategy, Palpatine confronts him directly. "I know what you and the Jedi have been doing, Anakin. I know about the investigation, about the questions you've been asking. Did you really think you could spy on me without my knowledge?" Anakin's hand moves instinctively to his lightsaber, but he doesn't draw it. He's been prepared for this moment, and his training takes over. "I don't know what you mean, Chancellor. If you have concerns about the investigation into separatist infiltration, I'd be happy to discuss them with you." But Palpatine is done with games. His kindly expression melts away, replaced by something cold and predatory. "Oh, but I think you do know, young Skywalker, just as I know that you've chosen to stand with the Jedi rather than embrace your true potential. Such a waste. I had such hopes for you. The transformation is complete now." The kindly Chancellor Palpatine is gone, replaced by Darth Sidious, Dark Lord of the Sith. His eyes burn with yellow fire, and the air around him crackles with dark energy. But Anakin doesn't flinch. He's faced his own darkness and emerged stronger for it. He knows who he is and what he stands for. "You're Sidious, the Sith Lord we've been hunting. How long have you been playing both sides of this war?" Palpatine laughs, a sound devoid of warmth or humanity. "From the very beginning, my young friend. Every battle, every casualty, every moment of suffering has been orchestrated to serve my grand design. And you? You could have been part of something glorious. Instead, you chose to serve masters who will never truly appreciate your power." But Anakin has heard these arguments before, in different forms. Palpatine has been making them for years, trying to convince him that power matters more than principles, that the ends justify the means. The difference now is that Anakin has a clear answer. "I chose to serve the Force, and through the Force to serve others. That's what makes us different. You see power as something to be hoarded and used for your own ends. I've learned that true strength comes from sacrifice, from putting the needs of others before your own desires." Palpatine's expression twists with rage. "Such noble words. Let's see how noble you feel when everyone you care about is dead." The dark side of the Force erupts from him like a storm, filling the room with crackling energy. But Anakin is ready. He ignites his lightsaber and extends his free hand, using the Force to shield himself from the initial assault. The battle is fierce but brief. Palpatine is incredibly powerful, his mastery of the dark side refined by decades of practice. But Anakin has advantages that the Sith Lord didn't expect. His emotional balance, hard-won through his choice to embrace Jedi philosophy, makes him resistant to the fear and anger that Palpatine tries to evoke. More importantly, he's not fighting alone. Even as they duel, Anakin activates the emergency beacon hidden in his comlink. The signal reaches Obi-Wan and the other Jedi waiting in the temple, and within minutes they're racing toward the Senate building. Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Aegon Kolar, and Saesee Tiin arrive just as Palpatine unleashes a devastating blast of Force lightning. But this time the confrontation plays out differently. Instead of facing a desperate Anakin torn between conflicting loyalties, Palpatine faces a united front of Jedi. Anakin fights alongside his masters rather than against them. his lightsaber moving in perfect harmony with theirs. The battle is still dangerous. Palpatine kills Aegon Kohler and CC-10 in the opening moments, his red blade moving with inhuman speed. But the remaining Jedi adapt quickly. Mace Windu engages the Sith Lord directly while Anakin and Kit Fisto flank him, preventing him from focusing all his attention on any single opponent. What truly dooms Palpatine, however, is his own hubris. He expects Anakin to eventually turn, expects the young Jedi's emotions to overwhelm his training. When that doesn't happen, when Anakin remains focused and disciplined, Palpatine is forced to divide his attention between multiple skilled opponents. The end comes when Mace Windu's Vapid technique begins to turn Palpatine's own dark energy against him. The Sith Lord, realizing that he's losing, makes one final desperate gambit. He unleashes a massive burst of Force lightning, not at the Jedi, but at the structural supports of his office. The ceiling begins to collapse and debris rains down around them, but the Jedi are ready for this too. Working together, they use the Force to deflect the falling debris while continuing their attack. In the end, it's Anakin who delivers the killing blow, not out of anger or revenge, but as a calculated strike designed to end the threat and prevent further suffering. As Palpatine's body lies still, the Jedi take stock of what they've accomplished. They've ended the war, exposed the conspiracy, and eliminated the greatest threat to peace in the galaxy. But they know that the work is far from over. The Republic is badly damaged, its institutions corrupted by years of manipulation and conflict. In the immediate aftermath, the Jedi work with loyal senators like Padmé and Bail Organa to establish an interim government. The clone troopers, no longer controlled by Order 66, are gradually integrated into a new, reformed military structure. The Separatist worlds, learning that they were manipulated by Sidious just as much as the Republic was, begin negotiations for reunification. Padmé emerges as a key figure in the reconstruction effort. Her opposition to Palpatine's power grabs and her documentation of his overreach provide a roadmap for constitutional reform. She leads the effort to create new checks and balances, to ensure that no single individual can ever again accumulate the kind of power that Palpatine wielded. The process takes years. There are setbacks and political battles, moments when it seems like the fragile peace might collapse. But slowly, steadily, a new republic emerges from the ashes of the old. It's smaller, more decentralized, with stronger protections for individual rights and clearer limits on executive power. The Jedi Order also undergoes significant changes. The discovery that they were manipulated so thoroughly by a Sith Lord hidden in plain sight forces them to reconsider many of their traditional practices. Under Yoda's guidance, they begin to explore new ways of training, new approaches to their role as peacekeepers. Anakin plays a crucial role in this reformation. His experience, his unique path to balance, makes him a valuable teacher and mentor. He helps develop new curricula for young Jedi, emphasizing emotional intelligence and self-awareness alongside traditional Force training. He also serves as a bridge between the Jedi and the political establishment, helping to rebuild trust between the Order and the Republic. As the years pass, both Anakin and Padmé mature in their respective roles. He becomes one of the most respected Jedi Masters, known not just for his power, but for his wisdom and compassion. She becomes a leading voice in the reformed Senate, championing democracy and individual rights while working to prevent the kind of corruption that nearly destroyed the Republic. Their paths cross frequently during the Reconstruction period. They work together on various projects, always professionally, always focused on their shared goals. But there's something else there too, a deeper connection that neither of them acknowledges directly. They've both grown since their brief romance, both become the leaders their positions require them to be. The moment of truth comes 5 years after Palpatine's defeat. The Republic has stabilized, the Jedi Order has reformed, and both Anakin and Padmé have proven themselves as leaders. During a celebration marking the anniversary of the war's end, they find themselves alone on a balcony overlooking the rebuilt Senate building. "We did it," Padmé says quietly. "We actually managed to fix things." Anakin nods, but his expression is thoughtful. "Did we? Or did we just postpone the next crisis?" There will always be those who seek power, who are willing to sacrifice others for their own gain. "That's why the work never ends," she replies. "That's why we need people willing to stand against them, no matter the cost." She turns to look at him, and for a moment, the years fall away. They're young again, standing together against impossible odds. I've been thinking about what you said all those years ago. About choosing duty over desire, about the path we had to take. You were right, Ani. We both needed to become who we were meant to be before we could even consider anything else. And have we become who we were meant to be? She considers this carefully. I think so, or at least we're closer than we were. The question is, what do we do now? It's Anakin who takes the first step. The Jedi Order has changed, Padmé. We've learned that attachment doesn't have to lead to suffering if it's balanced with wisdom and selflessness. We've learned that love can be a source of strength rather than weakness, if it's founded on mutual respect and shared purpose. Are you saying what I think you're saying? He takes her hand, the gesture tentative but full of meaning. I'm saying that maybe it's time we stopped running from what we feel. We're different people now, stronger, more mature. We've proven that we can put duty before desire when necessary. Maybe now we can explore what it means to have both. The kiss they share is different from their youthful passion. It's deeper, more thoughtful, built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared experience. They've both sacrificed for the greater good, both chosen the harder path when it was necessary. Now, perhaps, they can choose happiness without betraying their principles. The announcement of their engagement sends shockwaves through both the political and Jedi communities. Some traditionalists in the Order oppose the union, arguing that it goes against centuries of Jedi teaching. But Master Yoda, speaking for the Council, offers his blessing. Changed the Order has, he says. Learned we have that love and attachment are not the same. Fear of loss leads to suffering, yes. But love that serves others, love that strengthens rather than weakens the spirit. This is part of the Force itself. The wedding takes place in the gardens of the rebuilt Jedi Temple, a symbol of the new relationship between the Order and the Republic. Jedi and senators attend together, former enemies now united in peace. Obi-Wan serves as Anakin's best man, while Bail Organa escorts Padmé down the aisle. But the ceremony is more than just a personal celebration. It represents the triumph of hope over fear, of love over hatred, of the light side over the dark. The guests understand that they're witnessing not just the union of two people, but the birth of a new era. The years that follow are marked by continued growth and healing. Anakin and Padmé work together to strengthen the bonds between the Jedi and the Republic, creating new institutions and traditions that reflect the lessons learned from the war. Their partnership becomes a model for cooperation between different branches of government and civil society. When their twins are born, Luke and Leia enter a galaxy at peace. They grow up in a world where the Jedi are respected guardians rather than feared warriors, where the Republic is a true democracy rather than a corrupt oligarchy. They learn from both their parents, inheriting Anakin's connection to the Force and Padmé's political acumen. The galaxy is not perfect. There are still conflicts, still injustices that need to be addressed. But there's also hope. The institutions that Anakin and Padmé helped create provide mechanisms for peaceful resolution of disputes, for protecting the rights of all beings, for ensuring that power serves the people rather than the other way around. As Luke and Leia come of age, they face their own choices about how to serve the galaxy. Luke is drawn to the Jedi path, but a reformed version that emphasizes balance and emotional wisdom. Leia is more interested in politics and diplomacy, following in her mother's footsteps while forging her own unique path. Both children benefit from the example set by their parents. They see how love and duty can coexist, how personal happiness and public service can reinforce each other. They understand that the galaxy requires constant vigilance, constant work to maintain peace and justice. The story comes full circle when, years later, an aged Anakin stands before a new generation of Jedi initiates. His hair is gray now, his face lined with the wisdom of experience, but his eyes still burn with the passion that once threatened to consume him. The path of the Jedi is not an easy one, he tells the young students. It requires sacrifice, discipline, and constant self-reflection. You will face temptations, make mistakes, encounter situations where there are no clear answers. But remember this: the Force flows through all living things, connecting us to each other and to the greater tapestry of existence. He pauses, looking out at the eager young faces. Some of you may think that becoming a Jedi means giving up your humanity, suppressing your emotions, living apart from the world. But I've learned that the opposite is true. Being a Jedi means embracing your full self, understanding your emotions, and using that understanding to serve others. One young initiate raises her hand. Master Skywalker, what if we fall in love? What if we want families? The question brings a smile to Anakin's weathered face. Love is not the enemy, young one. Fear of loss, jealousy, possessiveness, these lead to the dark side. But love that is grounded in respect and selflessness, love that makes you want to be a better person, that can be a source of great strength. He thinks of Padmé, now working in her study on a new piece of legislation, still fighting for justice and democracy after all these years. He thinks of Luke and Leia, grown now and making their own contributions to the galaxy. He thinks of the choice he made so many years ago, the decision to trust in the Force rather than his own fears. The choice to walk away from attachment didn't mean walking away from love. It meant learning what love truly is, and discovering that true love is always willing to make sacrifices for the beloved's highest good. In his case, that sacrifice eventually led him back to the woman he loved, but as a stronger, wiser person capable of being a true partner rather than just a passionate lover. That, perhaps, is the greatest lesson of all. Sometimes the path to what we truly want requires us to first let go of what we think we need. Sometimes strength comes not from holding on, but from being willing to release our grip and trust in something greater than ourselves. The galaxy that Anakin helped save and reshape is not the sterile, controlled empire that Palpatine envisioned, nor is it the chaotic, corrupt republic that existed before the war. It's something new, something better. A true democracy where power serves the people, where the Force-sensitive serve as guardians rather than rulers, where love and wisdom work together to create a better future for all beings. As the lesson ends and the young initiates file out, Anakin remains in the temple gardens for a moment longer. He can feel the Force flowing around him, through him, connecting him to all living things. He can sense Padmé's presence in their home, Luke's determination as he trains with his own students, Leia's passion as she fights for justice in the Senate. This is what balance feels like, he realizes. Not the absence of emotion, but the harmony of all aspects of the self in service to something greater. It took him decades to learn this lesson, required him to face his deepest fears and make his hardest choices. But in the end, it was worth it. The galaxy is at peace, not because conflict has been eliminated, but because the tools for resolving conflict peacefully have been strengthened. Love exists alongside duty, personal happiness serves the greater good, and the light side of the Force shines brightly throughout the stars. In choosing to walk away from attachment all those years ago, Anakin Skywalker found something far greater than what he thought he was losing. He found balance, wisdom, and eventually, a love deeper and more meaningful than anything he could have imagined in his youth. Most importantly, he found his true self and his place in the grand tapestry of the Force. The galaxy is better for his choice, and the ripples of that decision continue to spread outward, touching countless lives and shaping the destiny of civilizations yet to come. Sometimes the greatest act of love is learning when to let go, and the greatest strength comes from choosing wisdom over desire. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.